Hey Eric, Paul Cundiff here. So you'll note that we're just doing some trial fitting and getting ready to kind of a mock-up here. So you might have to use your imagination just a little bit. But we've got the motor in the center of the boat as far as the length from bow to stern. So it's in the motor in the middle of the boat. We thought about how high or low we wanted to mount it. And of course, this is not the mount. This is just a spacer for the mock-up to kind of show you what we're thinking. So this piece of plywood would not be there. But we decided we wanted to have the motor higher than what your floor was originally, because basically your floor was right across these floor timbers. So that's probably the height that this plywood, top of the plywood, is probably the height of what your floor was. And so we thought that way we don't want to get that motor underwater. We don't want any water up on it any place. So that was how we chose to make this height. All right. This right here shows what we're thinking about for floor level. It raises it 2 3/4 of an inch. It comes quite a ways towards the side. I'll get you another angle on that so that maybe you can see how much of an area that we're talking about making flat. So if you can see the end of that board, that's kind of what we're thinking right there. We could probably go just a little bit lower, and we can certainly go higher, but that's going to give you quite a bit of walking space right there if we were to be on that strake. Quite a bit of flat space to walk, and a pretty good space for walking around the engine, the motor hatch, motor hatch / drop leaf table. And then, so, you know, we're kind of asking for approval for all this stuff, but the motor mount situation, we think we can get started on that. I don't think we have a problem. We'll get started on that. And what we'll do is we're going to build a mount that actually distributes the weight of the motor over 1, 2, 3 of these floor timbers, existing floor timbers. Then we're going to mount a shaft horizontally from the motor. Excuse me, I'm getting another hip in a couple weeks here. But from the motor, we're going to mount a shaft horizontally from this location, horizontally across these floor timbers. We'll put a universal joint. We might even be able to reuse this existing prop shaft, perhaps not, but the idea is to put a universal joint over here. So we'll have because the angle of this shaft would be, you know, it's not practical to go from this shaft to that shaft. We want to keep the shaft below the floor. So if we put a universal joint there, and we put pillow block bearings on that floor timber right here, and this floor timber right here, and then we put pulleys from this shaft down to the drive shaft, we can keep all the shafting and everything under the floor, keep the floor open and clean. And then that's what we've got in mind. It looks like some birds got eaten on the boat. And we're talking about putting the bilge pump in. We would put it right behind the motor. And we would put an opening in the side. See if I can show you an idea of maybe a bilge pump through hole on one of these boats. Okay, yeah. So there's a through hole for a bilge pump right about there. And we would put an opening like that behind the, we'd probably run the hose under the floor to an area back behind in some cabinetry instead, because we're not going to really be able to get that out of the boat because of your ceiling boards are going to be too close up here to do it up here. And then I'd like to put a garboard, it's called a garboard drain. The garboard plank is the planks on either side of the keel. That's a garboard plank, and that's there's the keel, and that's a garboard plank. And so we want to put at least one drain in so that we can clean all this out, and it can be kept clean, by pulling up a few boards or so, and you can do your annual maintenance keeping that clean. That kind of stuff, an accumulation like that, is what leads to rot, because that stuff will hold the water, it'll hold it against the wood, and that can lead to rot. So we want to be able to, one of the things we want to be able to do is for you to be able to maintain that once we're finished. And so that is kind of the main thing right now on this. And I think that's it for today. Take a look at the video and give us a call, or give me a call, and we can adjust our plan based on your call. But I think, and if anything's not clear, I can send some sketches and so forth of what we're looking at. Thank you, sir.